The originally tranquil and harmonious small town witnessed a shocking event one morning. It was discovered that the police station had been robbed, the gold stored in the station had been stolen, and even a police officer had gone missing. What's more, the only witness was shot dead. All hopes of solving the case pointed to the son of the missing police officer. Facing the suspicion of the townspeople and the pressure from the town mayor, the boy decided to venture deep into the mysterious western wilderness to pursue the clues left by his father. However, he was unaware that behind this case was involved a mysterious organization and a part of the history of the Indian tribe. Confronted with the numerous dangers in the wilderness, will he be able to finally crack the mystery of the stolen gold?
Chapter 1: The Mysterious Disappearance of the Father. The cold wind howled down the streets of the small town, sweeping up a cloud of dust. Jack Rivers stood in front of the police station, gazing at the closed door, a wave of unspoken oppression surging through his heart. 3 days ago, everything had changed dramatically on the night of a thunderstorm. That night, the town was shrouded in darkness. The rain poured down in torrents, lightning cracking across the sky, illuminating the entire valley. Inside the police station, there were only 2 people, Jack's father, the elderly officer Solomon Rivers, and a new officer. They were guarding a batch of gold brought from the gold mine, the gold bars temporarily stored there by the federal government, to be sent to the federal treasury after the winter roads improved. However, when the rain stopped, the police station was left with only a cold, lifeless body and a chaotic scene. Solomon Rivers was gone, and the valuable gold was also missing. The news spread quickly throughout the town. People speculated, some saying Solomon must have been blinded by the gold and fled with the money, others claiming he was abducted by Native Americans. But whatever the case, in a town proud of its police, Solomon's disappearance was undoubtedly a great disaster. Jack remembered clearly that morning when he opened the door to the police station, greeted not by his father's usual smile but by a group of serious strangers. Mayor John Hamilton stood at the door of the police station, his gaze as dark as a lead plate.
Jack.
The mayor's voice was deep and cold.
Your father is missing. We need your cooperation.
Jack's heart tightened. He clearly remembered his father's words, "Jack, one day you will understand that this world is far more complex than you think." But now, those words felt like a sharp blade piercing his heart. The cold wind still raged through the streets of the town, and a crowd of residents had gathered in front of the police station. Jack stood at the door, feeling the complex eyes around him. Some looked with sympathy, but many more were filled with suspicion and mistrust. Mayor John Hamilton stood at the door of the police station, his gaze as dark as a lead plate. He looked at Jack and slowly spoke.
Jack, I know you must be very upset right now. But as the son of a police officer, you should know better than anyone that this matter concerns not only your father but the safety of the entire town.
Jack took a deep breath, trying to calm his inner turmoil. He knew what the mayor was about to say would be even more painful.
Jack, we need your cooperation in the investigation. Do you know if your father had done anything unusual recently? Had anyone come to see him? Or perhaps...
The mayor's eyes flickered.
Is it possible that your father...
Jack's heart tightened. He looked straight into the mayor's eyes, his voice firm.
My father would never do such a thing. He is an honest man.
The mayor was not swayed by Jack's emotions. He walked to the desk in front of the police station, flipped through a notebook, and said in a cold tone,
Jack, this is not a game. Do you know how serious the federal government is about this gold theft case? They have sent a special agent, and some have already started to suspect.
His voice paused, as if hinting at something. Jack's heartbeat accelerated. He felt an invisible pressure pressing on his chest, almost suffocating. He knew what the mayor meant. They had started to suspect his father of taking the gold.
I know my father is missing.
Jack's voice trembled.
But I swear I have never seen anyone suspicious. I don't know what happened.
The mayor's eyes remained cold, but he seemed unsatisfied with Jack's answer. He walked up to Jack, looking down on him.
Jack, you are the son of a police officer. You must understand that in this situation, every move you make will be magnified. If you truly care about your father's innocence, you should actively cooperate with our investigation.
Jack clenched his teeth. He didn't want the mayor to see his weakness, but he knew that his father's disappearance must hide a bigger secret.
All right.
Jack finally said.
I will cooperate with your investigation. But I hope you can believe me, my father is not that kind of person.
The mayor nodded, seemingly satisfied with Jack's answer. But he said,
Good. We will send people to search your home to see if we can find any clues.
Jack's heart sank. He hadn't expected the mayor to make such a request. He watched the mayor's retreating figure, his fist clenching tightly. Just then, a policeman walked over. His eyes were filled with suspicion.
Do you know that some people say your father met a mysterious person before he disappeared? They say that person might be a Native American.
Jack's heart skipped a beat. He had heard such rumors, that his father had indeed been studying some Native American symbols and legends recently. But he had never thought these symbols would be related to the gold theft case.
I don't know!
Jack shouted.
I know nothing about those rumors.
The policeman said nothing, just gave him a cold look and turned away. Jack stood at the door of the police station, feeling the piercing cold of the wind. He knew that this was just the beginning. He would have to face not only the threats of nature but also the suspicion and mistrust of the town in the coming days. Jack returned home and, with trembling fingers, opened his father's drawer. It was empty, only containing a few old clothes and an old, tattered notebook. He opened the notebook and found it filled with records of various cases handled by his father over the years, the handwriting neat and serious. But besides that, there seemed to be no other clues of interest. Could his father's disappearance be an accident, or was he abducted by Native Americans? Thoughts and speculations were jumbled in his mind, and he fell asleep without realizing it. As he slept soundly, he heard a loud noise outside.
Jack! Jack!
Someone was shouting his name. He had to get up and look out the window to see Mayor John Hamilton, accompanied by a team of armed personnel, standing at the door.
Jack Rivers, we have reason to believe that your father's disappearance is related to the gold theft case. Now, we are going to search you.
The mayor's voice was deep and stern. Jack furrowed his brow.
What does that mean? I haven't done anything illegal.
Don't talk nonsense!
A policeman shouted.
Let's go in!
The policeman forcibly entered Jack's room and began to search through his belongings. They flipped over the mattress, pried up the floorboards, and even tore apart the wardrobe. Jack stood by, watching his home being turned upside down, filled with anger and helplessness.
What are you looking for? If my father really stole the gold, would he leave it for me?
Jack asked. The mayor did not answer. He was flipping through his father's notebook, as if searching for something. Suddenly, a yellowed map slipped out of the notebook. Jack quickly picked it up and found it was marked with some strange symbols, symbols that looked like some ancient Native American writing. Mayor John Hamilton's eyes were locked on the symbols and roots on the map. He clearly had a strong interest in these symbols, but he dared not admit that he knew nothing about them. He tried to get more information from Jack through interrogation.
Do you know what these symbols mean?
The mayor's voice was cold and sharp. Jack shook his head.
I don't know. These are things my father left behind.
Don't lie. We all know that Solomon Rivers is not an ordinary person. He was investigating something before he disappeared. Perhaps it is these symbols.
The mayor shouted. Jack's heart skipped a beat. He had never thought that his father's disappearance would be related to these symbols. He looked at the route on the map, trying to find a clue. The end of the route was a place he had never heard of, the Eye of the Gods. Just then, there was a knock on the door again. Jack, puzzled, opened it to find old Bill standing at the door. This 60-year-old cowboy was an old friend of his father, and his eyes were filled with concern and worry.
Jack,
Old Bill's voice was hoarse and low.
I know you must be very upset right now.
The mayor turned to look at Old Bill, a look of impatience in his eyes.
Old Bill, this doesn't concern you.
I must get involved. I know the meaning of these symbols.
Old Bill said firmly. The mayor smiled coldly.
What do you know? Just an old fool.
Old Bill paid no attention to the mayor's sarcasm. He walked up to the map and examined it carefully.
The Eye of the Gods.
He said softly.
It is an ancient Native American legend. They believe that there is a power that can change the world hidden there.
Jack's heartbeat accelerated. He looked at the route on the map and suddenly realized that his father must have already sensed something. Perhaps he had been tracking a secret, and this secret might be the reason for his disappearance.
My father must have known something.
Jack said firmly.
No matter what it means, I will find the truth.
Old Bill nodded. He said,
Solomon always saw further than I did. He must have thought you were capable of uncovering the secret.
Jack held the map in his hand, feeling the rough texture of the paper. He knew that this map was not just a route map to a relic, but the only clue his father had left for him.
I will find the truth, no matter what it means,
he said.